To see people in person or online. I hope everyone is well. And welcome back. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome back to fall 2020. We made it. That deserves some applause because, you know, obviously in these times that's a lot to say. So I'm glad to see everyone. This is not going to be a super long video. Super long meeting. We have some big items to talk about, but because there's so much detail, I'm going to follow up with emails with the information on the different subjects because I think that'll be easier to digest. So first, is Perry on?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, so Perry, you know me, love to make little videos, and your department chairs asked for some photos just so we can all see what people were up to over the summer and exciting celebrations, announcements, or just day-to-day how they were hanging out. So if you could play that video for us, Perry, that would be
All
wonderful.
right, I certainly will. And we ask that if you will mute your mics right now. Are y'all seeing the content right now?
Yep.
Okay, all right, great. Here we go.
We walk with you together as proud Jaguars on this journey.
So it seems like lots of people are having lots of fun out there. Kay must like flying through the air because first she jumped out of a plane and now she's zip lining through everything. So anyway, I also want to thank everybody, again, mostly USET, being conference presenters for our Embark 2020. And a shout out to Amanda Zakanis for her leadership over the conference. I know that was not your original role, but of course USET gets out front. So she did a great job managing, putting that together. And so I'd like to thank our conference presenters. So we have a couple of new employees that I would like to say hello to and welcome. First, Erin Brickman is our new department chair over natural and social sciences, health, and PE. So welcome, Erin. Of course, we wish you all the best in your new position.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. DeWitt, hello. DeWitt LeCue is our new computer programming instructor. You all know how long we've waited. He is a superstar, and so we are so thrilled that he's on board and coming back home to his family, friends and family in North Carolina. So it was a good fit for everyone. So wave hello to it. And DeWitt will be in the STEAM building. We're transforming an office form. And then, of course, Aaron will be moving over to the health building. And just a quick update, we are, Dr. Johnson just did the final approval today, hiring a new biology lecturer. So this is a new classification of faculty, and this person, lecturers, will only teach. They have a much higher teaching load, much higher office hours responsibilities, but they will not be doing advising. They will not be doing committee work in exchange for basically carrying a much higher load. And we are, as always, kind of being challenged with getting enough adjuncts to cover, especially in the high value STEM field and so forth. So this was something we proposed in the faculty workload, and it's been approved. And so we're excited that this will be a new position that we can use. This person will not have an office on campus, although they will be a full-time JCC employee. And so we're doing it internal only. And so we hope to have that person on before the end of the month for biology. Just wanted to talk a little bit about any questions on any of that stuff, you know, raise your hand. We could have done this and collaborate to really test that out. Any questions? Everybody's good? Okay, so we have been on campus, the chairs, Terry and I, and some faculty, starting August 3rd, and have been working very hard to get the buildings together. And I will say that they're looking rather snazzy. And we have signage all over the place, and arrows that Elizabeth put down, Terry, across the entire building. Steam has moved furniture. Terry and I have moved furniture. Rooms are offline for storage. So it's really coming together. We have students on campus as usual, looking for their classes, making sure they know where to go. So I'm very excited about that. We are almost filled to the brim. If we probably had to do the wait list people for classes, we would not be able to accommodate them. We have added as much as possible. Thank you to those who have taken on additional sections. We have raised caps as much as possible. So, you know, some are in the 35 to 40 range for their online classes. So I appreciate, you know, how taxing this semester may be with those numbers in classes. So we are, as a team, administrative team, talking constantly about what we can do to support you, as well as ensure that our students have a quality educational experience this semester. So for those of you who are teaching on campus, we, you know, we really need everyone, whether you're teaching on campus or off campus, to help us with compliance. We have a lot of signs up, but regarding what you can and cannot do, directional signs and so forth. But we're instructors, and we help, you know, we give instructions to students all the time with the expectation that they follow what they are asked to do. And for the most part, you know, when papers are due, papers are turned in. When a test is being given, students show up to take their test. So we need to do that on a broader scale, and helping, all of us need to help manage these students to make sure that they are complying with the system we have in place. So that starts really with the first day, where I think that we need to spend most of the time talking about our COVID procedures and what is expected. So when students come into a classroom, they will be expected to take a wipe or two and clean off their personal area. There are signs everywhere, or the seats have literally been removed so that they are sitting at the table by themselves. The instructor excuse me, the instructor has to do the same thing for their instructional area, their keyboard, you know, whatever they feel like they need to clean and wipe. And then of course, everything needs to be discarded. But we need students to do that, because the only alternative is going to be faculty. So quick story, I took my mother to the hospital for a colonoscopy. She dropped her off, went to go park. As soon as I got to the end of the parking lot, there was a person saying, stand in line for your screening. While I was in line for screening, there was a person standing there, move ahead, just, you know, make sure you're socially distanced. When I got into the hospital, there was 2 people doing screenings. They went through the checklist. They did my temperature. They made me take off my mask, put it in a bag, and they gave me a fresh mask to put on. Then I sat down. When my mother got up, we had to go to a different waiting room. There's a lady who came right after us and sprayed down the seats we were sitting in. I say all that to say, we do not have that. We do not have that level of personnel to do all of those things. So there's not people coming in between classes cleaning everything. So if we don't employ students to help us manage those things, then you know, it's going to be problematic. We have one custodian, and I literally had to do a proposal to try to get him to come earlier in the day, and I'm being met with resistance. So him coming pretty much late afternoon overnight is not really helping us with cleaning. So we just do not have that level of personnel. I feel like our students generally are compliant. And so if we just continue to message to them in classes, this is what we have to do for the safety of our campus and our class. This is what you're expected to do. So face masks are required by everybody while you are on campus. And that's not just in a building. That's literally when you are walking around outside, you have to wear a face mask. And from this whole week, I don't know what other people who've been on campus, I have seen everyone wearing, of course, you know, staff, but I've seen students come in and everyone's had their face mask. So I'm hoping that that will not be a problem. Elizabeth, tell us our little saying in Smith.
No mask, no class.
And it's right on the front door. And we're gonna have those like artificial balloons on Monday, and they have little face masks on them with little eyes. So you know, we also want to keep it fun, because for some students, this is their first time in college, and we don't want to take all of that away from them by, you know, just bombarding them with the rules and this and that. So we are trying to, you know, keep it light and have a little fun with them, and hope that that will help them, you know, comply with what we need. All the monitors have all the instructions and directions. There's signs everywhere, really, on the floor to the ceiling. So we just need people to pay attention, and we need faculty to assist us with that. So one of the big things for entry-exit is that if at all possible, it would be wonderful if you are at your door before, as students enter, because then you can immediately tell them to take the, especially the first day, to take the wipe. So we need to modify and reinforce their behavior from the first day. So if at all possible, to be at your door greeting students the first day, telling them grab a wipe, go to your seat. Second, on exit, we are all not exiting at the same time, because, you know, obviously with the number of classes we have, and even with reduced, we have a lot of classes at 9:30. So we have an exit strategy where the even number classrooms, which are the double sections, which will have 25 students, they will exit first. You have to go out the back door. You cannot, during the end of the block, you cannot turn around and go out the front door. Everybody has to go out the back door, even faculty. If you're just going back to your office, then you got to go out the back door, go all the way around to the front door and come in. Because the minute they see you not complying, then they will not do it. And then it's an issue. You can walk up and down the hallway when we're in class, because, you know, it's very few people in the hallway. So if they have to go to the bathroom, they can just go down the hall to the bathroom. It's at the block, the exchange of the block. We are going to do our best to keep people outside prior to coming in for the next block. But again, it is a personnel issue. You know, just think about Walmart. If that person at Walmart was not at the front door the entire time, everyone would just walk in. But we don't have a person that can be at the front door the entire day monitoring people. So we are going to do our best. But that would be something you go over with your students the first day. If you have seated classes, telling them, you know, it's best that you wait in the car until the block, you know, right before the block starts, then come in. And just, if you see students leaving the building, that's your signal to come on in. But other than that, you pretty much should just stay outside or stay in your car.
Hey,
Any
Don,
questions on
yeah,
any of that?
Dr. Bradshaw just typed the question in the chat. Dr. Bradshaw, do you want to speak for that, or you want to?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
So you mentioned that masks were required outdoors as well. There was a bullet point in Dr. Johnson's email where face-to-face classes have a short break to go outside and remove their face masks. Will that need to be in their cars? Are there going to be designated areas of campus where masks can be removed, or is there a third option, a third way, a different way?
No. I'm going to need most of us to use some professional judgment on how, you know, what we're going to do. If you are walking through campus, going from class to class or going somewhere, you need to have a mask. If you are just standing outside for what I imagine would probably be a quick minute or so, then you can remove your mask, pull it down. You know, some people just want to breathe in through their nose or so forth. But if you are getting ready to walk around campus, you need to put your mask on.
Dawn, can I interject really quickly that the procedures that you're talking about with the arrows on the floor during the blocks, that's for Smith, correct?
Well, everyone had, I mean, I'm talking about our buildings, Smith, STEAM, and we don't really have health as a building. We have the classrooms upstairs, but I do know they have two-way traffic because their hallways are really big and they have so many exits. So you have to comply with the directions within the building you're in. But for Smith and STEAM, I'm sorry, STEAM does have two-way traffic too, right, Lance? Right. Okay, so STEAM has two-way. We only have one way in and one way out, so it was easier for us. Any other questions, comments on that? Okay. So just the first day, Terry, the first week, Terry and I will try to assist in saying, you know, now knock on the door for 101. You guys can, you know, that left side can exit out the back door. But pretty much I'm just saying, just look and see if the hallway is filled with people to keep social distancing. It may not be the best thing to, you know, let your people go right then and there. And I would imagine it's no more than like 30 seconds before people start emptying out of the building. So just be aware of that. I know sometimes we're just at our computer, we're putting our stuff together. We're not paying attention at all to what students do. But this semester, we're going to have to work together as a team to help manage that a little bit more, especially until we get them in the rhythm of knowing how they have to behave in the buildings. Does anyone see a problem with that? No, everyone's good? Okay. And so just to cycle back a little bit, I really would encourage you to spend ample time the first day going over what is expected on this campus. And more importantly, and you can read Brian Strickland's campus procedures manual. If someone feels that they have been exposed or they don't feel well, you need to impress upon your students. If you do not feel well for any reason whatsoever, you have a headache, which is a big symptom for people who have COVID, you need to stay home. And you need to make it clear to them that we are not trying to be punitive when someone, you know, that's the last thing they need to worry about. Because honestly, Linda's biggest worry is students who won't self-disclose because they're worried about attendance. So you need to make them understand that we will work with anyone if it's the difference between you not feeling well and staying home and feeling like you're going to get, you know, the ding and dropped or whatever, and then possibly trying to pop 2 Tylenol and come to school when they feel under the weather. That has to come from you. They need to feel like you understand this, we're all in it together, and we will work with you. Is everybody fine with that? Because that's it. We know students who come to school sick anyway. I have a test, and you know, all this. You need to make sure the first day they understand what that means. That is, if it is even the possibility for the safety of everyone, just communicate with you, and you all will try to work with them. Do you see any problems or issues with that? Is everybody comfortable being able to work with their students? Okay, I know I've talked to many students who were fearful about getting dropped, and they, you know, so then they come to school. So also go over in your mind, really, what if someone is sick, or what if you are sick? And then to talk about the possibility that we might have to pivot to online for a short period of time or for a longer period of time, depending on what is going on in the class. So, or even the building. So it's, you know, I think we can say all this to say to them, please be our partner in keeping everyone safe. 3 W's, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance. So if they keep hearing that, and hopefully they figure out that we can manage this while still being in school, then that they will comply. You know, we do not want pictures of like some of the high schools I've seen where, you know, you got hundreds of kids in the hallway. So I'm looking for you all to do that, because I cannot obviously be everywhere on this campus in every classroom saying the same thing. They have certainly put enough signage up, have sent enough emails out. And so hopefully we'll see how the first week goes, but I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to manage together as a team. Those of you, had a great video with it. Okay, if anybody has videos or signs you want to send along to me, you know, we got lots of monitors all over, so we can put those up. Those of you who have synchronous classes, this is a, you know, a major change for our campus. I do feel like students may not understand what they signed up for. So I know we were asked to send out, thank you, Elizabeth, for sending out the email, a welcome email to your roster to just remind them they're in a synchronous class and they're expected to log in at a certain date and time. Angelina, you had a question?
Yes, hello everybody, good afternoon. Dean Dixon, I just had a question because you were talking about procedures for Smith, and I know I'm familiar with STEAM, but is there going to be any type of, you know, document or description sent to us or students about other buildings? Because I know some of us are teaching in other buildings, and then I'm also concerned about what our offsite campuses have done. For example, Cleveland Center. I mean, do we expect to see similar things, arrows on the floors and all of that on those sites?
Yes. You know, I will be honest with you. USET was the first department that came up with their protocol, and then pretty much everybody copied it. So the same kind of stuff that we're doing, everybody else is planning to do in their buildings. Now, I don't, you know, every building is different. Like health is a two-way traffic, so they don't have a big blue arrow going up like we do in STEAM. So you do have to take that into consideration, that buildings are different, and so they may operate a little differently. I'm not sure everyone's releasing classes at different times like we are. But some buildings are bigger than Smith. Smith is small, STEAM is kind of, you know, small and narrow. So, you know, some buildings are bigger. So no, not everyone will be doing the exact same thing. 2, there is a campus procedures manual that everyone has, and you should read that. It's 14 pages, but I would suggest you read it, the whole thing, especially because there is a self-assessment in it that they say you should do daily. It didn't sound like it was a requirement, but it gives you like general parameters in terms of how their response will be if there is an exposure. And I have been grilling Linda, and I'm a little surprised that the new public health, and I think Dr. Pearson addressed some of this in the meeting in terms of from a public health perspective what they are doing. It's not as stringent as I actually thought it would be, depending on the level of exposure. So it is fine for you to email any AVP over another building and ask any specific question of them, especially since you're teaching in their building. I think that's completely appropriate.
Hey, Don, Lisa has a question in the chat. Will there be fire drills this semester?
Yes, there still will be. Well, there's planned fire drills because you have to do that for the CDC. There is, I know they do fire drills. They may reduce the frequency, but they have to do it a certain, I think they have to do it once a semester to test the fire drill for the building. There's a liability thing if you never do a fire drill and then something happens and you didn't know your fire alarm didn't even work. So you have to do those. But the CDC has, the Child Development Center has planned required fire drills. So I don't think that they're not doing that. If I could be incorrect, but no one has mentioned that they would be ceasing, because that is also a liability issue on the other side for us. We still have to attend to all of those things that we're required to do by law. Any other questions on that? So for those of you, Terry, do you want to say how they can get what you have available to them?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to let everybody know that if you are teaching traditional classes, that I have put together a little bag for you with your own markers and your own eraser. Therefore, you do not have to use anybody else's. They are your personal items. You can take those and keep those with you at all times, when you're in class. That way you won't have to use any that's on the board. Also, we have face shields. If you would like to have a face shield while you're teaching your traditional class, just let me know. I have to go and pick those up from VP Smith, but I can get some.
You also have JCC. You have 2 JCC masks. They had a little gift bag with some hand sanitizer spray. So that will be in your bag that you can pick up as well. We do have some extra paper masks, but not, and gloves. So some people may want to take some gloves, because if you want to hand out paper or if you need to collect anything, you may want to put on the gloves, the latex gloves. Just have it in your, kind of pencil bag. Those are available. If you want to tuck a few extra plastic masks in case a student shows up and like, oh my God, it fell out the car into a puddle or whatever. And then Terry will also have some of those in case you want to, just grab 1 or 2 who's teaching on campus. The reality is the majority of our folks, I would easily say maybe the majority, are not teaching on campus, but for us, we may not have as many classes, but I'm telling you, this campus has a lot of classes. So because there's a lot of programs that cannot go 100% online. So there's still going to be a lot of, activity on campus.
Hey, Don, Thea has a question in chat. Do we need to saran wrap computer keyboards in our classrooms
We
when
already did that.
Oh, we did? Okay. All right.
Terry, I mean, we have been hustling. So those of you who are teaching on campus, we have been hustling. And Terry did all the instructor stations with saran wrap. Faculty volunteered and did all the computer labs.
I'm sorry, I was referencing when they come free, because like in Smith, we taped those. In Health, they didn't tape them, they just wrapped them. So if they come free or when they come free, do we need to be the ones responsible to recover the ones in our room?
No, If you're
Okay.
in another, if
Thank
you're
you.
in, just let the admin assistant for that building know that they,
Okay.
that, because you're not expected to run around and try to find saran wrap and do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do
Also,
that.
also we got another question in chat from Becky. If we wear a face shield in a synchronous class, do we have to wear the face mask also?
So a synchronous class, you're online. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about a face-to-face class?
Hey, Becky, you can unmute your mic.
Becky?
Hey, sorry. I don't know if this mic is working. Is it working?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I forgot about that. I was thinking about going in face to face with my high schoolers too. So that's fine. So even in the high school setting though, if we're in the room with the shield, is that okay? Or do we need to have the mask with too?
I think that's up to you. Mariella made a great comment about, when you're teaching a language, you need the person to kind of see your mouth and how it's formed when saying the words and so forth. So, I think she said she was going to use a face mask when she felt it was real important that they see her lips. Now, I did see mask with the clear, but I don't know, like you can see your mouth. I don't know what kind of covering it is, if it's plastic or whatever. Yeah, Dorothy Eubanks said you can get clear masks. So it's completely up to you. I've seen people with both, and I've seen people who have needed to take off their mask and they have a shield on instead. So your choice how you want to manage that.
All right, and Megan Rivera has a question. If we want to have some extra mask in case students forget it, like you mentioned, do we get those from Terry?
Yes. Now, I will tell you, I don't know if they have extra and they're just slowly doling them out, but they only gave us 50. So, I mean, I'm like, I could probably go through 50 the first day, because I could just imagine students like, what? That's why we just sent out an email saying, oh, by the way, you have to wear a mask. And I'm going to be out there like managing the parking lot as well to say, our little thing, no mask, no class. You got to find one, or I'll give you one. But if I'm out of them, you got to go find one. The bookstore is selling masks. So they do have PPE in the bookstore. But basically, my feeling, Dr. Smith and Dr. Johnson have all said to me straight up, if they do not have a mask, they are not coming in your classroom. So they got to go figure something out. And hair doesn't count. I was in the store and the lady didn't have her mask, and she put her hair, she's walking around with her hair over. I was like, I don't think that works. You can't use your hair. So anyway, I think they, and if you're sending emails out to your students for anything before Monday, you can just throw that in. Might want to make it as a signature on your email. Don't forget to wear your mask, or no mask, no class, whatever you want to do to help them learn that behavior. Any other questions?
Yeah,
So
we got a comment from Dr. Bradshaw.
Okay.
He says, I have several coming in the mail. I can keep you up to date with how they work. And
I think that's
the clear mask.
The clear mask.
Okay, yes, he said.
Okay.
Yes. And we have another question from Mariella. Where do we refer students if they do not have a mask? Okay, thank you, got it. Okay, so
Bookstore.
She got it.
Yeah.
Bookstore.
I mean, we're more than happy to give them one, but I just don't know how much they are, they clearly said they did not order enough to give students masks every single day. I mean, we don't have that kind of supply. Did Clara have a question?
Yes. So just to clarify, while we are in front of the classroom lecturing, are we required to wear a mask or not?
You are, but I do know that it depends on how your classroom is set up. If you're in F105 and you're all the way down on the floor and you make people sit 2 seats up because you only have 20 students in the class, you have a little flexibility with that. Most classrooms, when Terry and I start moving furniture, in order to get to the number of the cap for that room, you could not take the front row offline. So then they're relatively close to you. So at that point, for their protection and for yours, I feel like you should probably keep your mask on as best as possible. And I think that's why Linda's saying everyone might need just a quick fresh air break. I know that eats up your time in your classes. But, you know, having been in meetings, face-to-face meetings where we all have on masks for like over an hour, it is a little challenging to just, you know, keep it on for that long. And again, if you feel that there's some open air space that you want to utilize because you're just having a classroom discussion, you don't need technology, you know, plop wherever you feel that you can be, and out in the fresh air if you just want to break things up a little bit. We can get creative. I do believe there will be, we were trying to book the auditorium, but it's not quite finished. But we have very large nursing classes, like there's 60 and 70 people in them. And so they might be in the auditorium lobby and different places just to try to keep the number, but spread out.
All right, we got 2 questions in the chat. The first one is from Dr. Gooden, and he's asking the question, how do we prevent students without a mask or refusing to wear one from entering our classrooms if they insist on entering?
First of all, it is a code of conduct violation, so you can let them know if you want to proceed in this classroom, I will file a charge form on you, and it's a code of conduct violation. Second, do not, I repeat, do not get in any kind of altercation, confrontation, or anything with a student. Simply walk away, pull out your phone, and call security. You don't need to pull people out. You don't need to argue with them if they don't want to do it. Simply tell them I will be calling security. If they want to go to the president, let them go to the president, because I can assure you, he will say you cannot be on this campus without a mask. Now, he may run around and try to find them a mask, but if students have a problem, we will put them in an online class. I will put them in an online class. If you don't want to wear a mask, your solution is you can take online classes. You can take a synchronous class and get the same live instruction that you would if you were sitting in the classroom, and you do not have to be bothered with a mask, and you can be in your pajamas in your bedroom. So, you know, don't feel like you have to engage in some kind of political argument or some kind of anything. I tell Terry all the time, you do not have to take it. You can get up and walk away. Do not let people get all in your face. Simply say, I'll be right back, and go call security. Okay, does anyone have any questions on that? Hopefully we won't get to that point, but I know it's a political kind of first, you know, constitutional right, and when we just don't need to engage in that. This is the rule for our campus. If they don't want to comply, we do have options for them to still get their education at home.
All right, the next question is from Jennifer Ramirez. Are we also supposed to monitor the hallways and remind students about the mask policy there as well?
I would appreciate that, because I can't be everywhere. And as I told, you know, the department chairs, this is only going to work as the nation, Dr. Fauci and anyone else, that is if everyone does it. It doesn't work if people don't do it. So if you feel comfortable doing that, feel free. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, then don't do it. I don't want to put anyone in a situation where that's just not them. You know, they're just not that person who would say something. If you want to call security, if you're walking by my office, you can poke your head in and say, you know, Dawn, we have students down, you know, all together at the end of the hallway. Nobody has a mask on, and you know, I don't mind going down there and doing that. But I think there'll be enough people on campus who feel this is important for their personal safety that they would just say, hey guys, you know, mask on, don't want to get in trouble or whatever, and keep walking. Whether, you know, if they comply, they comply. If they don't pay attention to you, then, you know, that's that's on them. And there certainly will be a lot of people. Security will be, and the police officers doing a lot more foot patrol, sending the same message. So.
And Aaron just posted the campus security phone number for those of you who need it
Mm-hmm.
in the chat.
Every student I've seen on campus has had a mask on. What is Megan saying?
All right. I don't anticipate having a problem, but for those teaching at Cleveland, who do we call if security is needed? The same number, or would it be a different number?
The same number. I think they do some kind of sweep of Cleveland. And of course, the fire department is right across the street. Jersey girl. I think you can handle yourself though.
Asking for others teaching at Cleveland, you know, I won't have a problem.
No one would want to tell Megan they're not gonna wear a mask, Jersey girl. Yeah, I mean, the faculty for quite a while have always said, thank God the fire department is right across the street. But yes, you call the same security. And if it's urgent, like you feel that this is beyond our security, call 911. Call 911. I don't want anyone to feel like they, in any way, shape, or form, and this is in a normal semester. I mean, if you feel like someone is violating your space and you feel in danger, call 911. Any other questions on that? I know there are a lot of just absolutely, we can't possibly think of all the scenarios now. Some of this we're going to have to use our best professional judgment, kind of feel it out as they start to happen. So, let's communicate with one another, share things that have happened so that people can have some solutions in their toolbox if they experience the same thing, whether it's the language that you might use that seem to work well with your students or whatever. Let's make sure anyone can send anything out to JCC University Studies. It's our department listserv. So please, feel free to do those things. Okay, now some of the chairs had some updates. And Elizabeth, I told you not to let me forget something. And all I remember is telling you not to let me forget what it was, but I do not remember what it was.
Luckily for you, I wrote it down.
Thank you.
Okay, so for those of you who are teaching synchronous online classes, I've had this question several times. In your shells, you should see the enrollment verification quiz. You do need to have students complete that. That is a required component because they are in an online class. It's synchronous, but it's still online. So even if they are present on the first day, they're showing up and they're doing stuff, they've still got to complete that EBQ. That's the thing I told you not to forget.
Okay. Lance, did you have something? I'm sorry, I probably wrote this down on one of my many little pads.
Yes.
Pages and pages of notes on it.
I do. It was essentially just logistics of STEAM. Just a reminder, STEAM, there's only a single entrance, and that's double doors by the Frank Leach Art Gallery. Those classrooms or offices that are on the right, which is the section closer to the IT department, would exit through that double door, and those on the far left, which is closer to the B111 faculty lounge, would exit through that back door. So there are two exits, one entrance, and we have two-way traffic. So just follow kind of the arrows that indicate the flow of traffic in STEAM.
Okay, Jennifer, did you want to tell them about Studio T?
I sure do. For those of you who have heard me say it a billion times, I apologize. For those who have never heard anything about Studio T, yay. Studio T is just about complete. We're still waiting to purchase some furniture and some laptops, but we swiped a few laptops from here and there for in there. We have completed our first face-to-face workshop in Studio T, so thank you to Megan and Perry for that. So far, everything's been great in there. We upgraded the Lightboard Studio, so now it's a one-button solution, which means that you no longer have to wait for Perry to have availability on his calendar in order to use the Lightboard Studio. You also can walk in, plug in your jump drive, and everything turns on for you. You hit record, and when you're finished recording, you hit stop. You remove your OneDrive or your jump drive, and you're out the door. So we got that upgraded and installed, and everything's working perfectly in there for that. Over the summer, all of the specialty rooms are ready in Studio T. We have done 2 open houses, one for early college and one for CTLA, and we also had WRAL come out and take footage for hopefully a story that will air soon. We're keeping our fingers crossed for that. We have had lots of traffic in there already. Jolt was a huge part of the Embark 2020. So between Jolt and Amanda, I'd say USET really rocked it. All of the recorded workshops, the people that were recording workshops either worked closely with Jolt to record or they came to the studio to record. Maureen Shappert was the first person to use the editing room, the video editing workroom. So that's pretty exciting too. What else am I missing? Oh, we are starting our Bright certification. We're doing a pilot with ECA and CTLA to make sure that I don't miss anything and that it goes smoothly. And then we'll start taking reservations, I guess, for future sessions. I think that's everything for Studio T, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then can I also throw in a few other things, or do you want to move on?
Go ahead.
Okay, so first and foremost, thank you all for your patience, and I apologize for anyone who I have not gotten back to yet. I promise I'm doing my best. Jolt's doing our best. This summer, we have closed over 700 tickets, and I'm pretty sure that is a new record. So just so you understand kind of where we are in, the amount of help that we are offering. We're not just for USET, unfortunately. We are for the whole campus and for all the students. So we are implementing KBox so that you will get a faster resolution. You'll get faster help. So please, for anything that you would normally just email to me or email to Perry or David or whoever, just make sure that you're putting that in a KBox ticket, because if anyone else can help, you'll get a faster solution. And Blackboard Collaborate, we have already trained over 100 employees in Collaborate. We've had 10 sessions, and we currently have 4 more on the books, as well as a Q&A session that is a follow-up from the Collaborate session. So if you still need help with anything, let us know, and also sign up for that. I think I'm good.
Okay. I think I've neglected to mention a new employee because honestly, I'm looking right at her the entire time, and I'm like, Tammy is actually officially new to USET because it started this fall. Is that correct? But I feel like you've been here since spring. So Tammy Barber is a math instructor and will be in Lance's unit. And of course, she's been at the college, How long, Tammy? You're on mute.
I've been here since 2004, so 16 years.
16 years, and she's been
Yes.
with Arts and Sciences in our department before. And I'm like, oh, but she's now back to university studies, and so we want to welcome her, and we're very excited to have her on the team. And she joins her work husband, who came in January,
Yes.
Shane Wells, in the English department. So Molly Gooden is present too. Molly is our new part-time biology instructor. Correct, Lisa?
That's correct.
Okay, so I do, I'm so excited to have Tammy in the fold again and rocking all the math stuff. She'll be working with the RISE co-recs a lot and really helping us be able to assess and analyze and make sure we are on track with that. And then we do have a lot of part-time instructors on board. So that is wonderful because we want to ensure that you have as much information as possible. And please feel free to always join our meetings. And all of the training is open to you as well. And I really like to thank Lisa for taking adjuncts under her wing with the training. It's a lot in the sciences with the kits and the blended lecture, no blended lab, all sorts of complicated ways that we deliver the science courses. So I appreciate those of you who are helping our new adjuncts. I think, Terry, we probably have about 12. She's talking. You're muted. I think we might have about 12 to 15 brand new adjuncts this semester. So
15.
15 new adjuncts just in our department. So that's a lot. Of course, they need our support. And we want to always be the department and the team that answers questions and gives them guidance and support as they get used to what we do here at JCC. So welcome to all the new adjuncts. We also are trying to hire, I put in a newsletter, an email, Blackboard Collaborate faculty consultants. And this was specifically targeting part-time instructors who are familiar with Collaborate. That was the first item on the job description, for an additional 20 hours to act as a support to our faculty as we transition into Collaborate. Megan Rivera, this was just another thing because she has a superpower of knowing Collaborate and she's been doing a lot of our training. But what we did decide to do is not to assign people in our unit to our unit. So Megan's actually assigned to public safety. And honestly, that is kudos to our department, because when we assessed which was the most needy, we were at the bottom of the list. So you're not the most needy department with Collaborate, and so she'll be working with public safety. And we might have to actually go outside of the college to see if we can offer this as a part-time position to people who don't work here. It's easy. The easiest thing to do is to add it on to adjuncts as a non-instructional contract. So we started there, but not as many people are familiar with Collaborate to provide support. So we might have to start looking outside of the college. But we do want to make sure we give you all as much support as possible. And Jennifer, we're not sure if she sleeps, but we try to get her to sleep by helping out as much as possible. Luckily, we interviewed today. She had interviews for a new position, and so hopefully we'll get her another person sometime in the next couple of months. I don't know.
I can confirm she does not sleep because we were working on the conference together.
Sleep.
She does not sleep.
Yes. So we do appreciate everyone's patience, and I do encourage, as always, going back to Susan's 3 before me, please look to your colleagues for simple and honestly, it's not as much us, but for simple questions, like if someone puts in an email to distance learning because they can't find a syllabus, they don't know where the syllabus is. Those are things that any colleague on this campus could probably give you some direction. So I do, ask that you support one another with simple Blackboard technical assistance. Just ask someone. Most of us, most of you actually teach online and probably can answer, simple questions for a colleague or whatever. So thank you. I appreciate that. Aaron, did you have anything you needed to update the department on?
Nothing specific in terms of updates, but I do want to thank everybody that reached out and has made this transition a lot easier. So many people have basically said anything that they can do to help that they're there for. And I can't name them all because like literally almost everybody in the department has reached out to me. I do want to say thank you to Lisa for setting up stuff in the health building, or our little section of the health building, sit signs and stuff like that. So just in general, a thank you to everybody that has congratulated me on the new position and reached out to help in various tasks. We are, you already mentioned hiring the biology lecturer. We're also in the process of hiring basically my replacement from the physics, the full-time physics instructor. Just got approval from Dr. Johnson to move ahead with the interview process. So hopefully I won't have a full-time physics load in addition to the department chair stuff. Hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later.
Yes. Be kind to him because he still has all of his physics classes because of the timing. But yeah, I hope we thanks to Aaron putting a posting on a professional association, we got a slew of applicants. So it's very exciting that we are not waiting and only have like 1 or 2 people. A lot of times when that happens, they're not even credentialed correctly. So anyway, I think he's in a good position to get a great replacement. That's all I really had. I will be sending a procedural form in the unfortunate case there is any kind of exposure. We have a USET exposure report form that is fillable online. And so if a student emails you about anything, I mean, I think, Emma, did you have a advising situation where the student told you, okay, thank you for all my seated classes. So what do I do if I can't come because I'm in quarantine because I have a coronavirus? And Emma was like, shouldn't you have started with that? Or I think she had done all the advising for all these seated classes only for the student to not be able to come because apparently she was still in, or he, quarantine. Yeah.
Well, I figured I don't want them to go to campus.
Right. At this point, yeah.
Take all online classes.
Yes. So in the unfortunate situation, I took the steps to kind of come up with our department procedure, and it includes a reporting form just so we have all the information, and then that will go to Brian Strickland as our environmental safety person and Vice President Smith, and they will immediately determine what the appropriate response is, and then we'll impact that. So in some situations, I would, of course, probably keep some stuff online in case we have to pivot or you have to pivot because the class needs to go online for 2 weeks or something like that. So just make sure you have some stuff in your online, which I'm sure you all do, your shell, and so that you're ready to move at the drop of a dime. But hopefully that will not occur. Are there any questions in the chat that I need to address?
Well, Megan Rivera made a comment. She said, in the meantime, until USET has faculty consultant, please feel free to contact her with any questions, and she'd be happy to help. Just shoot her an email. And then I want to pronounce right. Is it Cordula?
Cordula, yes. Chemistry,
yeah,
chemistry instructor.
Yeah. She said, any adjuncts who want to talk about dealing with difficult times, please send them to me.
Oh, okay. Okay, and Cordula has seated classes, but we're kind of at where we are at. So you shouldn't anticipate any more students. If anything, you'll see people drop, I think, especially students who may not understand they're in synchronous. But we are, as I said before, pretty much out of seats. And I mean, just like Bio 111, that's a typical first semester class, and I don't think we have any seats left in Bio 111. So anyway, people may text you, may email you. Some people do that. They email the instructor, but you would need to, your department chair is the only one who can add a person in the class. We absolutely are not adding anyone to seated classes after moving all these chairs and getting the correct number in the room, there's no space for more people. So no seated classes will go above unless we can move your whole class into a bigger classroom, which is difficult because all the big classrooms have been taken by everybody. Yes, Dr. Thompson, you may mention honor.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Mariella. Where are you, Mariella? You were somewhere on my screen. I think you're on a different screen right now. But anyway, she did a really awesome video for us because we knew it was going to be tough to recruit this semester. So she put a lot of time and energy into this 2 to 3 minute video for us to use to help recruit students. So I'm going to send that out later today. And if you would just post it in your class, point students to it. Maybe if you want to play it on the first day of class is fine. But we really need to get students recruited the first week or so because they only have a couple of weeks to find a mentor and get going. So we will have honors, and instead of having the honors showcase like we did last semester, we'll have to nix that part and just do the virtual presentation. But I expect them to still be fantastic. We'll just have to use our, our masks if we're going to meet face-to-face or meet virtually, make sure that they have projects that they can do virtually if that's where we are. So.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, we don't really want this to stop all the great work that we're doing. We will, as best as possible, proceed on with, maybe it looks and feels differently, but we don't want to put a pause on all of the good stuff that we're doing. We want to keep the momentum going as much as possible. So happy to chat and sit with anyone if we need to figure out how that looks and feels. But I think, again, we have a lot of students who are new. We had we were down in overall CCP, but we were way up in the number of high school graduates who decided to come to JCC. So this is their first collegiate experience. They may have had classes already, but they're at college. And so we don't want to take away some of the great experiences that we can offer them if at all possible. And we can, make it work in a safe way. We do a lot, on this campus. So imagine if we just stopped all the stuff we do, it, honestly would be a lot to do on campus, maybe, but, so I'm there to support anyone if you want to figure out how to do things in a new way that we can outreach. Let me tell you, and Jennifer, we have our new Senior Director of Communication. Her name is Nancy Barkaw, and she comes from Vermont. She has family in North Carolina, but she most recently was Director of Marketing in Dubai. For a university there. And so she has just phenomenal experience. She's lived in all over the world, has done all sorts of things, wanted to come home with her daughter to North Carolina, and she's already on it. And so I think you might see just a renewed interest in getting information and telling our story to the broader community of the good work that everyone is doing. I think you're going to see faster turnaround and more stuff out in the community about what's happening here at JCC. So I'm very excited about her being on board. She's totally different and a go-getter, and came in all her leopard. It just was like ready to rock. So she's really fun, and I hope everybody gets a chance to meet her. But I do think you'll start seeing a lot of things different from a marketing standpoint. And more importantly, I think her #1 goal is to work on the website. The laser team plans to have virtual hours for the lab. Oh, great, virtual hours for the laser lab. So that will be important as well, because I do think we'll need a lot of students will need a lot of support with all the different modalities. And one thing I think they struggle with a lot is feeling by themselves, especially in online classes. So making yourself accessible to them in ways that, are beyond just sending emails. I know there gets to be a point where it's too complicated. I get lazy and I don't even want to type all that stuff. So, phone calls and, virtual sessions. I think we have access to all of that. And so we need to employ that. Everything cannot be fixed through an email. So I just need everyone to keep that in mind, and to make, to get creative in how we are keeping connected to our students. What did that say, Perry?
Yeah, we have a question from Amanda Zakanis. She want to put a plug in for the history courses. She said history 132-S03 and section S04 have seeks if you advise students today if they need a history course. Thanks all. And also Amanda states history and political science are also working on ideas for virtual Constitution Day celebrations. And then John Strickland, he wants to give a shout out to Jolt. He said, I want to thank Jolt, the Jolt team, for a wonderful Blackboard Collaborative workshop. I learned both new tricks and hidden old tricks.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yes, we spent a lot of money on Collaborate. We spent a lot of money on Collaborate. And we spent a lot of money on Collaborate. So I'm expecting people not just to use it, but use it to its full capacity, because it has lots of bells and whistles, cool stuff that students will find really dynamic and engaging. So let's get trained. There's plenty of people to do that in Studio T, and let's use that web conferencing tool to really, have dynamic classes. And we have more $200,000 worth of more instructional technology that we are working on ordering that I think you will find very exciting when it comes. Stay tuned for that. Oh, and just one more thing. If you want to use any classes to teach because you have a synchronous class, you don't want to sit in your office, feel free to get with Terry. There are lots of classrooms in Smith and on campus that are not being used, and you are more than welcome to go in there. We are getting more webcams, but you certainly can just put your computer in front of you and teach on the board like you used to.
I believe Angelina had something about.
Yes, Dr. Kanice has a question. She want to give way to mention PD opportunities.
Say that again.
Dr. Kanice want to mention about the PD opportunities, professional development, I think.
I just want, is it okay if I speak?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know, I know you guys are eagerly working on your PDP plans and your professional development goals, and we are still going to offer the Lunch and Learn series this year, hosted by Faculty Association. It will be done virtually, and I know USET is awesome, and so many of you love presenting, so please start thinking about your ideas on something you might be passionate about presenting. You will receive a form in your email next week, and we're encouraging you to collaborate, to share your ideas, and lead a virtual workshop for professional development opportunities this year. So you'll be seeing that in your email, and we appreciate you participating in advance.
Okay, awesome. Any final comments? I hope everyone has an awesome semester. And it's a rocky road right now. I'm hopeful that we're prepared and can move forward and do the best we can for our students. Hi, Katie. Any comments, questions? Okay, it is fabulous. Okay, that's for Megan. To see everyone. Terry and I are here. Terry turned her office all around. It looks really good. So, if you are on campus, certainly pop by to see her new space. And give us a call, Skype, email if you need anything. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Where are you located? I don't know your office.
Say what?
Where is our office? In STEAM or somewhere else?
DeWitt, Terry's office is in the Smith building.
No, and your office.
My office is in the Smith building, right next to Terry. Our offices are connected.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking. All right.
Come by and visit me.
All right.
All right. Thank you.